Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to go through the pairs that we looked at last week. Okay, not last week, but during the start of the week, that is on Monday. We see how they went and how I went about taking the trades, and some of them did not play out as expected. So let's start with the first one, which is Euro USD. If you didn't see the last analysis, just go to the previous video that I posted. We did analyze all of these pairs. Okay, so on euro dollar, we were expecting the move to the downside. As I told you guys, I'm still expecting a move to the downside up to this area. Then from this area, I have a higher time frame value area at the top over here, of which I'm expecting this price from here to push again all the way to these areas, and then that's where we'll be looking again for our long-term sales again to the downside, because I'm seeing this as a bigger correction for another drop to the downside. Potentially it might be the one last drop, but it's a higher time frame structure, so it might take a while. So with this drop over here might be a very nice swing, but for now we were looking at the corrective move over here, of which we were looking to take advantage of these sales towards the downside. So the price last week was in these levels over here. Okay, it was in these levels, in these areas. So since I was expecting the price to pull back up to these areas, because I remember telling you guys that this was the inducement, don't look for trade in these levels, but we were to look for trades on these areas over here. So this is where the reaction happened, and you can see the price broke it up and then quickly reversed again to the downside. So going down to a 1 hour, I managed to get my entry on a 1 hour chart, and this was a very nice. I could have gotten even an earlier entry over here or even here, but for me, I wanted to see a clear push commitment in price towards the downside first, because this was the first pullback over here. So this first pullback was a bit not that convincing for me, but this one was a nice one for me to take. So I did take this one with like 3 positions, because my target was in these levels. My overall target was in these levels. So the first target was these areas over here, on this key area of which the price tapped in those levels and then started pushing again to the upside. So the remaining positions I had set to a break even, of which I could have maybe managed them properly, because I could have even secured half of the profits, could have been better, but I only managed to secure one position, of which it was around 100 pips, which was a nice one also. But on those other remaining 2 positions, maybe I could have managed better, and I could have gotten some even more profits on this pair. Okay, so for now, my bias is towards the downside still, but the way the price is moving, it looks like we might get this correction over here and get another push again to the upside. Potentially we might get this correction up to these levels over here. Okay, then from these levels you might get another push. Then I'll be looking to see if this pattern over here will make this price go to the downside. So upon that, we'll be looking for entries again. Okay, so my bias is towards the downside still. I won't take any buys on Euro USD for me. I won't take any buys because my bias is towards the downside. So let's wait for that and see what will happen. Other pair we looked at was USD ZAR. Okay, with USD ZAR, same as Euro USD, I was looking for my entry in this level. You can see we had a very nice push towards the upside, and then we broke this high, of which I remember telling you guys to look for entry. I remember telling you guys to look for entry on these levels down here, on this large week, in these areas over here last week, not last week, on Monday. So the price tapped this area and pushed again to the upside. And remember guys, this is USD ZAR, it moves a lot of pips. So with this pair, again, I could have managed it wisely, and you can see it took me up for a break even. And with this pair USD ZAR, this one I could have even, if I could have maybe even secured some few profits over here, it could have been very nice profits, because it moves a lot of pips. So the price moved over 100 pips and then came back and tagged me out for a break even. So this was a very, very poor management of me, of which I'll be looking to correct it. Okay, so I was expecting this price to to hopefully tap the here again, and then we push to the upside because it did extend from my value area. So I was expecting this price to bounce again from here, but you can see just continue pushing towards the downside. So this one I can say it was just bad management of trade. So right now I'm not looking at it anymore because the price, I'm biased towards the upside. So I'm still waiting for that convincing push towards the upside. Potentially now we'll be having this trend line. You can see this was the trend line, but you can see since here we broke and we are coming back in, we will adjust it. So for now, the trend line is not that important because we still need that convincing push, potentially breaking this high, then we get that pullback, and then we enter the market. So this is what I'll be waiting, of which will be our head and shoulder pattern inverted one. Okay, so watch out on that one. The next pair we looked at was GJ. GJ, yeah, this one I think it was clear on the analysis. I told you guys to wait for the setup over here for sales, and I'm currently active in it. As you can see, the price, we broke the downside after this third touch over here, and after breaking the downside, I looked for my order block, which was way at the top, and together with this three touch pattern, of which I did expect it to extend for me to get that tap of this order block. So right now I'm expecting this price, you can see, let's go to a 15, it's moving corrective towards the upside. Yeah, this push is corrective, so I'm expecting this push to go maybe all the way to, we need to break this high, because this is inducement, guys. This is inducement. Once we break this high, that's why I'm not yet at break even. We might break this high, then that's why we see now the move towards the downside. Yeah, we might break this high because this is the inducement, and the order block on this time frame is here. This is the order block, so I'll be expecting this price to tap these areas, and then we drop the downside. So my stop loss, maybe I can move it to half of the risk, maybe around these levels. Okay, I'll do that, but watch out on this one. If you're not in yet, just wait on this move over here, break this high. Once we tap this order block, that's where you look for your candlestick formation for push to the downside. So this one is a nice trade. So if you're still active in it, just hold on to it. You see how it will form. Next pair we looked at was EuroCAD. EuroCAD was also a lovely pair, of which we were looking for sells from all the way from here. After this, you can see after this expanding pattern over here, we're looking for sells from these regions, but you can see the price is extended towards the upside. If I'm to go to a 1 hour, okay, so in my 1 hour time frame, I was looking for my entry in these levels, so at the top over here. Okay, I was looking for my entries in these levels over here. So with my refined entries along these areas, I did expect the price to push towards the downside, but you can see the way the price was pushing. If you are to look at the 4-hour chart, this one was not convincing. Okay, this one was not convincing for me, for this price to continue pushing towards the downside. So I didn't even look at I didn't look for my entry, because most of the time I usually use 1 hour time frame and 4 hour time frame to get that good entry. So for me with this one, if this price, you can see here we broke it nicely. So if we could have moved a little bit further downwards, breaking this low, then get this correction, it could have been a better move for us to take it towards the downside. This one could have been a very nice entry, but you can see instead of that, going down to a lower time frame to look for entry, you can see the inner trend line that we can draw is this one over here. Okay, it was this one over here, and as you can see, once this trend line was broken, the price didn't give that room for the price to correct towards the upside. Okay, so I did expect the price to move a little bit further from where it has broken the trend line, then we start correcting up to those areas, these areas where the trend line was broken on this order block over here. Then that's why we'll be looking for the drop towards the downside. This could have been a very nice entry, but you can see instead, immediately the price broke that level. You can see we broke with this big candle and quickly reversed again with this other big candle. Okay, so there was not that space for corrective move in these levels for me to look for my entry, and you can see the price pushed towards the upside. came back down again, but you can see the move towards the downside is again corrective, not impulsive. So I did not look again for any entry on that. So seeing this price breaking this high over here, once this price broke this high, there was a potential of this price forming an expanding pattern, okay, because it means that this order block has been violated. So potentially we might continue pushing again towards the upside. So my pattern was like this. My first pattern was like this over here. Okay, this was my pattern. You can see this squeezing channel over here. So I was expecting this price to tap here, give us that third touch, then that's why we'll be looking for our entry towards the downside. But you can see the price came back and gave us another. We broke again this top, and then we broke to the downside. So this top, to me, this one looks like a double top. Okay, this one looks like a double top because we didn't get any third touch over here. So this one, I saw it as a liquidity area of which it could have been swept way easily. So looking at it, once the price gave us this double top, I knew the price might come back again and break that high over there. But if the price was to push to the downside, I was to wait for the price to break this low. Okay, I was to wait for the price to break this low. Once we break this low, we look for our entry, and then that's where we look for our continuation towards the downside. So as you can see, the price did break this area to the downside, and you can see we have much red candles in these cells over here. So it was a bit convincing for me to take this, to look at this as the impulsive move. But looking at this pullback again, I had set already, my order was already set on these levels, but you can see this pullback was aggressive. So it wasn't that convincing that it is a corrective move. Then we continue to the downside, and that's where the price played out the way it did. So you can see the price, once we tapped over here, gave us a reaction, then started correcting again towards the upside. So once the price came and broke this low, once we broke this low, I quickly moved my stops just above this corrective area, because you can see this was not corrective. So we could have easily come back again to this area, either corrective, and then we continue again towards the downside. So I was aware of that. So the price came back and broke it again impulsive. So after this break, that's why I knew the price was forming this expanding pattern. So upon forming this expanding pattern, the price gave us this nice third touch, and immediately after that we broke the downside, breaking this low, which was a convincing one. Once we broke this low, we had a change of character. So we were to look for an order block at the top over here for potential entry. Okay, and we can see the price came back nicely to that area, and with a 3-touch pattern. This was a lovely 3-touch pattern over here. Okay, this is a lovely 3-touch pattern, and towards our area, even if I could have drawn even a lower time frame pattern, you can see this other pattern inside over here. Okay, you can see this other pattern over here. So this one was a nice entry, of which the price has broken down, very impulsive over here. So this one looks nice, and I'm currently active in this one, so we'll see how it goes. But my first target is on these lows over here, but my overall target is way below, because I'm taking this bigger pattern over here. So my overall target will be all the way down to these levels. This will be my overall target. So this one will be a good swing, but I'll be looking to close some positions when we tap this area, and potentially when you use trailing stop loss, we might be tagged out. So we'll see how it goes. So if you want to be safe on this one, wait for this trend line to be broken right here. We have a very nice trend line over here that you can wait for it to be broken. Once this trend line has been broken convincingly, then that's where you look for your corrective move for your continuation towards the downside. And that's where I'll be looking to add more position on my setups. Okay, so this one also looks nice, and wait on that one, guys. Okay, next one, we looked at US oil. US oil, I told you guys to look for buys on these levels. So the price tapped nicely in these areas. This candle was, let's see, this one was a midnight candle potentially, or was it? Yeah, it was a news candle, not a midnight candle. It was a news candle, and the price broke impulsive towards the downside, breaking this low over here, of which it did violate our value area and the order block, because our order block was this candle over here. Okay, so upon violating this order block, the price, this was a very red flag, okay, because potentially the price could have dropped again towards the downside to fill this long wick over here. And as you can see, the way the price pushed to the upside was not that convincing. After this was the nice wick over here, which was giving us a sign of this price to push to the upside. But upon seeing this long wick breaking that order block, it did violate the setup. So there was a high potential this price might come and fill this wick, and then we look now for our buys. So potentially we have broken this low. Okay, now since we have broken this low, this value area is now violated. Order block is also violated. Let me just get rid of them. So right now, what I'll be looking, I'm biased still to the upside. So what I'll be waiting to see if this price can go up, break this high. Once we break this high, tap this order block over here. Once we tap this order block, we wait for that corrective move towards the downside, and then that's where you'll be looking for an entry towards the upside. Okay, it's as simple as that, guys. You just wait for this impulsive move to the upside. Potentially you can even use that trend line. I usually use trend line to confirm my entries. Okay, you can use this outside trend line, or you can use the inner trend line. Okay, so the inner trend line will give you the first pullback. Okay, so use this inner trend line for the first confirmation, and then you look for your entries for buys. So this one is still not yet ready. You just have to be patient on it. Next we have Ethereum. I remember telling you guys about Ethereum, and the price has played out just as expected. We did tap the order block over here with this nice 3-touch pattern, and again the price has tapped lower time frame order block, of which we have talked about over here, and also with our 3-touch pattern, which we had drawn this one before the price tapped this 3-touch pattern over here. But the problem is that I didn't get my entry. Okay, I didn't get my entry, so I was not involved in these buys. Okay, so my entry was after this push towards the upside. I was expecting this high to be taken out. Once this high has been taken out, I was expecting this pullback. We break this one as an inducement. We tap this value area, and then we continue towards the upside. That was my setup. That's what I was looking for in this pair. But you can see the price continued pushing again towards the upside. So for me, I didn't get my entry. If you did get in, congrats. But for me, I didn't get my entry. So if this price can decide to come back again corrective to this area, then I'll be looking for my buys. Okay, but this time you can see this pullback will be a deep pullback. Okay, so you should be careful with that one, because we might form maybe a pattern. With deep pullbacks usually give us some patterns, of which we might tap over here and then we drop again towards the downside. So be careful with that. But for this one right now is not on my watch list. It might take a while, so we'll see how it goes. And lastly, we had German 40. German 40, the price is still stalling in our value area. It's still stalling, guys. You just need to be patient with this one. You can see we are still at our order block. The price is not yet moving. So with this one, we'll be expecting that pullback. Hopefully it will be a pullback, because this was a very big impulsive leg. So I'm expecting this pullback. Then we get a continuation up to this value area. From this value area, that's where I'll be looking for my drops towards the downside. Okay, this is what I'm seeing on this pair. And if we break this high, okay, this is another possibility. If we manage to break this high, and let me delete this. If we manage to break this high, then come back inside correctively up to this area, then this might give us this expanding type of pattern in this level. Okay, this might give us this expanding pattern, of which it's also a good thing, because we will be biased towards the downside still. So we might get this sort of pattern over here, or we might get this pattern in these levels right here, and then this one we adjust it to this one right there. Okay, so either way we'll be looking for ourselves once we tap any of these areas. But for now, we are still biased towards the downside for now. We are still biased towards the downside. So you can see with this push towards the downside, over here, and this corrective move, there is high chance we are forming an expanding type of pattern. Okay, we might have there is high chance we are forming an expanding type of pattern, of which we might continue pushing again towards the downside. Okay, so that's why I said indices we still have more down push to come. Still have more down push to come, because this one is just an expanding pattern forming. Okay, so let's go down, let's see what you can get over here. I think the setup is still the same as we discussed last week, and the fact that we are corrective towards the upside, this one is a nice indication that we might soon drop towards the downside. And remember, don't look for entry on buys on this level. This is inducement. Look for buys on these levels down here. This is the right area to look for buys. Okay, those levels are down all the way to these levels, but the most probable area will be this one. I don't see it going all the way to deep pullbacks up to these levels. So be alert on this one. This one looks nice. German 40 usually gives us very, very nice entries, clean entries. So with this one, you can see we have a clean trend line also over here. So with this trend line, what I'm expecting, the price just to break it, correct, push down, correct, push down. Then from here we look for our overall buys against towards the upside. Okay, so this is what I'll be looking at. So that's it from Monday analysis, and I'll see you guys on the next one, because tomorrow I'll post another one for next week's setups, the watch list. Okay, we'll post our weekly forecast as usual. Okay, so make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, I also have a mentorship program where we look at many pairs. Okay, I'll show you guys the pairs that I've taken that they were not in these lists. I'll show you guys on my weekly analysis, because we had lovely setups. We did not get any loss so far. We just got 2 break evens and four profitable trades, and 2 currently are active. Okay, so it was a lovely week for us. It was a lovely week. Okay, so if you want to join my mentorship program, link is in description. If you want to join a free Telegram channel where I also post these charts, the link is also in description. Okay, so see you guys on the next one. Cheers, guys.